Geek Myths, a novel about life, love, and the pursuit of sonic screwdrivers. Available in paperback and Kindle edition from Amazon.
Scanning for audio.
Welcome to a Tin Dog podcast. This time talking about Rose Tyler, Dimension Canon, which is basically Series 1 of Rose Tyler's spin-off series, but it's also got, well, as well as Billy Piper, Kumail Kajuri, Sean Dingwall, and Mark Benton. I know, Mark Benton. So pleased he's here. It's basically 4 stories, and they all fit together. Now, the original idea for Rose Tyler, Defender of the Earth, is just a little bit too similar to New Unit or Countermeasures. So when Big Finish are going to come along and produce something like this, it always puts you on edge. You're thinking, oh, this is just kind of the same as what I've already got, but not as good. And it's Rose, who I have a love-hate relationship with, but I'd like to tell everyone I've got a love relationship with, but really, yeah, and so on. But Dimension Canon isn't. It needs to be something that Big Finish haven't done, because we've already got too many of the they're coming to us and we need to defend the world kind of storylines, which is what they've done. What they've given us is a combination of time tunnel, no, not time tunnel, sliders. It's time tunnel and sliders in a bad Doctor Who universe. Because Rose, do you remember that storyline where the Doctor was travelling with Donna, and at the very end of the series, and Rose says, "Oh, I've been searching all over for you." Well, this is the search. That's what this particular box set is. Well, this is the first part of that search. And of course, in those other stories on TV, you saw Rose in the background. Well, here, yeah, you're ahead of me, aren't you? There's mentions of Donna or a gingerhead woman, that kind of thing. It's all brilliant. But what you need from me is the synopsis. The story for number 1 is The Endless Night by Jonathan Morris. As his parallel universe darkens, Pete Tyler has found a chance of survival. Punch a hole through dimensions someone can jump through, and maybe find a way to the Doctor's universe. They're implying here that the Doctor only exists in one universe. Now, we know from the fact that, well, the Bernie Summerfield Doctor is from an alternative universe and has ended up here and so on. So the Doctor does exist in more than one parallel, which would be nice because you'll actually be able to get the Valiant to turn up at one point or something equally creepy. That'll be brilliant. But on her very first visit, Rose visits the Earth that's about to get colder. As a long night begins, Rose meets different versions of her parents and one man who could help her search. His name is Clive. Yeah, start as you mean to go on. Bring in Mark Benton. Just genius. His performance is just as good as it was in 2005. The character's great and is just close enough to pull that off. Because this is the Doctor Who's version of Sliders, you've got the different universes. It's got a bit of a Twilight Zone feel to it. But because it's Rose, can she save the universe? Can she save the world? Or is it just a nice series of dystopias? Well, it does kind of begin to get that slightly depressing feel as it goes on, but that's kind of what it's for. The universes are ending, but the fact that Rose doesn't get to save everyone, or indeed anyone, just begins to get to you a bit. Perhaps that's me. The second episode, The Flood, Lisa McMullen. In the first episode, you've got, well, everything's getting colder. Second one, you've got everything's getting wet. Making another leap with a new companion, Rose finds a world suffering environmental change. The rain won't stop. The government could be hiding the scale of the impending disaster. While Rose connects with another version of Pete and a strangely compelling young man, Clive meets someone special of his own. In this world, there was no Clive for Caroline to meet, but love can cross dimensions. That brings us to the third story. Now, this is The Ghost Machines by A.K. Benedict, which is by far the most sci-fi of all the stories. Now, I would have liked to have called this one Soul Trader, but that's just me. Here's the synopsis. Pete decides it's time he accompanied Rose on one of her dimension jumps, but he couldn't have picked a worse time. They arrive in a world where technology took an extraordinary path, and where the recently deceased Pete Tyler had a very different kind of success. As machines start to break down, Pete meets his widow, and he and Rose must confront truths about their family. They may not escape this earth alive. I don't want to give away any spoilers about this one, but let's face it, there is a kettle that screams, and that's possibly the most disturbing bit of the whole story. The last bit? The last story in this box set, The Last Party on Earth by Matt Fitton. Here's the synopsis. Rose and Jackie visit a home very close to the one they left behind, but some old friends are missing and some are unexpectedly present. Rose meets two young men she knows should be together. It can sometimes take the end of the world to see what's right in front of you. Meanwhile, the Powell estate faces Armageddon in the only way it can, by throwing a party. Yes, these stories are very nicely constructed. The characterizations and the actors are brilliant. You can feel the Powell estate in this last story. You can witness the majesty and the decadence and the darkness that's coming in all of them. But these do feel very 2008. And perhaps it's the absence of the Doctor that makes everything so rife for despair, and I think that's possibly what they're getting at. Is this the greatest of all box sets? No. But does it contain some great moments and gems? Without question. I'll let you hear the trailer and decide for yourself. So until next time, be seeing you.
The walls between dimensions have got thinner somehow. Thin enough to punch a hole in. And we have developed a machine that can do just that.
Coming soon from Big Finish Productions. Rose Tyler, the Dimension Cannon.
Hi, my name's Rose Tyler. This is going to sound weird, but have you ever heard of a man called the Doctor?
The only problem is that although we can punch a hole into another universe, we can't be sure that we've got the right one.
Just the Doctor?
Just the Doctor. No, I can't say I have. Is he a rap artist?
In theory, there's an infinite number of parallel universes, but we think we might be able to find the Doctor's universe by a process of trial and error.
If we're going to find the Doctor, we need signposts to the right universe.
Because each parallel Earth tells us something, how different it is from our own, what caused it to branch off.
You and me, back together after all these years. Lovers at the end of the world.
This is strictly a solo mission. Once you're through, you're on your own.
The universe I live in now is not where I'm from. I'm trying to find my way back.
Ready?
As I'll ever be.
All right then. Establishing interface. Good luck.
Big Finish. We love stories.
You said the planet is doomed. 70 years before lights out on humanity, and there's nothing you can do about it.
That's what this is, isn't it, love? Awake for the end of the world.
That was the Doctor Who Tin Dog Podcast, available on iTunes, YouTube, Twitter, RSS, Vimeo, and across the internet. Doctor Who and its associated properties are all copyright and trademark of the BBC. No infringement is intended. Why not become a supporter by visiting patreon.com/tindog. Contact the show on tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk. The Tin Dog Podcast is a founder member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance.